So you're running for governor of California.
Yes.
But before I get into why, are you like conservative, Republican, independent? Where do you stand when it comes to that?
I want to. When we came to this country, we grew up as Democrats.
Democrats?
Yeah.
Okay.
But back then, the Democrats were conservative. You know, we were against communism and all that.
Right.
John F. Kennedy, you know, with the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that. So we were Democrats right off the bat because my dad was a prisoner of war in North Korea. And he was in prison for being a pastor. He was born in North Korea. And when Kim Il-sung wanted to invade South Korea, he arrested all the pastors.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so if it wasn't for the U.S. soldiers that intervened in 1950, my dad would have been stuck. He would have died in a concentration camp. But they released all the prisoners. My dad was able to immigrate to the United States. So we hated communism, you know, because of what we saw what happened in North Korea. But when Reagan became president and he started to fight, you know, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. My father
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
So my dad switched, and we all became Republicans.
Right on.
And so I'm a Republican to this day.
Yeah, I was a Democrat, too. I wasn't a Democrat in Alabama.
Well, a Democrat in Alabama is really conservative.
Right.
You know?
But I only became a Democrat when I came to L.A.
Yeah.
Because all the black people were Democrats. I'm like, what the... And so as a young person, I thought I needed to be one too because I thought the Democratic Party cared about the blacks.
Yeah.
Because I believed Jesse Jackson and Louis Farrakhan and all those people. But I realized after a while that the Democrats did not care about the blacks at all. They were using the blacks.
Absolutely,
including the black leaders, right?
They used Asians. They were using us as Asians. I mean, there's no question about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And to get money. So I became a Republican conservative. And when I became a Republican, you would think that I joined the KKK. My family turned against me. My friends turned against me. They're like, what's wrong with you? How can you be black and be a Democrat?
Well,
but I read the platform.
Here I'm a pastor in California, a conservative Republican, and I have to be honest with you, you know, like 80% of California vote left.
Yeah.
And so majority of people in California are registered. 25% are registered Republicans. 75% are registered Democrats or independents. So the majority, so you prorate that to a local church, you have a lot of Democrats.
Yeah.
And I had my day of reckoning when I decided to support Trump in the first election in 2017. And I gave the message right before the election, 1 week before the election. I said 5 reasons why I'm supporting Trump to be the next president, the 45th president. People walked out on my sermon. I mean, they're all women.
Of course.
They're all going for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And it was like it shocked me because that never happened to me before. But I realized, you know what? You know, I can't compromise, though. I can't compromise my values, and I'm going to love them. I'm going to pastor them. And we have Democrats in our church.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my kids is a Democrat. Okay, so I'm not going to reject them because. So that's the way I'm approaching the governorship. I want to be the governor of all the people.
And why?
Why? Because I love people, and I feel God's called me to serve the people. And this nation is about we the people. The government that we have, which is the constitutionally based, is the highest law of the land. It's not some king or some monarch.
Right.
It is the Constitution of the United States. And our founding fathers created what's called a democratic republic, not democracy, because if it was just pure democracy, Trump would never have been president because everyone in California would never have voted for him. And whoever is in California would win every time because we have the most people. But it's a representative, democratic republic. And so we have a chance to have our representatives in the Congress and the Senate. And of course, we have a chance through electoral votes to get the right president.
Your father come from a communist society.
Yeah, he was just born in North Korea. He didn't know in 1945 they would create the DMZ zone. Overnight, he was trapped.
So what is it like for you coming from that environment, though you were born here, right?
No, I came when I was 5. So I came, yeah, as a little boy.
So what is it like seeing that America is becoming a communist, socialist
That's why I'm running.
society. Is that like, what's that like?
Well,
knowing what it's like, and now you see it happening. What's that like for you?
It's because my father hated communism, and he would talk about the evils of communism. It's an atheistic Marxist ideology.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it happen right here in California as a one party. Think about it. There's no two parties here. It's all one
Not
party,
here, one party.
atheistic, Marxist. They don't believe in God. God's no longer on the platform of the Democratic Convention.
Yeah.
It's just that the Democratic Party has taken God out. And that, as a pastor, I can't support a party that takes God out.
That's right.
And so I realized, and so what happened in 2020 when Governor Newsom locked down the church, I ended up suing Governor Newsom for locking down the church. I was the pastor with our network of churches that sued because I saw it was just arbitrary because he had abortion clinics open, he had marijuana dispensaries open, he had liquor stores, a strip club in San Diego. You know, all the vineyards were closed, but not his. Restaurants were closed, but not his favorite, French Laundry.
Right. I saw that.
And I just said, wait a minute. And then he locks down church. Costco was open. Big corporations were open, but not the small businesses. 18,000 businesses went bankrupt in California during that time. So what I saw when he discriminated against the church, I said, wait a minute, of all the groups that should be open is the church because we have our First Amendment rights, that the state will not interfere with the free exercise of our faith. And so I told my attorney I was going to open up in May. So this is early. March, April is when COVID hit. We opened up our church in May. And I knew I was going to get in trouble because in our city of Pasadena, we don't have one city council member that's Republican. It's all Democrats. And so I knew, and sure enough, I get a letter from the district attorney of Pasadena saying that because you opened up and you violated Newsom's. By the way, he just made an executive order, and he picked cherry-picked which groups would be open. It wasn't through legislation. If it was through legislation, state senates, it would be a different matter, but it was an executive order.
Amazing.
And so they said they're going to arrest me, they're going to fine our church. It turned out to be $4.5 million.
Whoa.
This is the cancel culture. The Marxist playbook is to bankrupt you if you disobey. And put you in prison. They were going to put me in prison. But what was really scary to see how egregious and totalitarian they were. They said, when you're in jail and if you continue to meet, then we're going to arrest your church members.
That's amazing.
This is in the United States.
United States of America.
This is not China.
So let me ask, for a long time now, California has been controlled by the Democrats. And since the Democrats have been in control, it's been nothing but misery.
Yeah.
There's been nothing good from it at all. And I can go down the list. Illegal aliens in the state, we're taking care of them.
Right.
We're paying their rent, buying their food, paying their education, free cell phone. You name it. Homelessness everywhere.
Yeah.
Fires, we just had those great fires here in California. And we tried to do a recall of Gavin Newsom, right? But the people voted to not recall him. What's wrong with the people that they don't seem to get enough pain where they say, this is not working, I'm going to have to try something new.
Right.
What's wrong with the people that keep voting for the same people?
Let me get to the root issue. I feel the real root issue is the spiritual atmosphere of California. What I mean by that is that people are in darkness. Isaiah 9:2 says, these people who sat in darkness have seen a great light, and it's talking about Jesus. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Almighty God, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. It's talking about Jesus. So these people are in darkness. So what we need there's a verse that says in 2 Corinthians 4:4, the God of this age has blinded the eyes of unbelievers. They just don't see. And now there are enough people that do see, they say they're fed up and they're switching over. That's why 41% voted for Trump in the last election. And 10 counties went totally red, which is unprecedented.
I know, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. But still, majority of the people are in darkness. So what I'm praying for a spiritual revival. So what my campaign, if you go to my campaign, che4ca.com, it's just CHE number 4 for CA, I'm mobilizing 1 million prayer warriors. I'm asking believers to pray for California for revival and reformation, and that the scales will come off people's eyes. They will give their lives to Jesus Christ. I'm praying for a spiritual awakening. And so this movie out, Awakening, A Great Awakening, is out right now. I haven't had a chance to see it. I've been so busy. Okay. But it's all about the first Great Awakening of 1738 that began in England and then hit America. It so transformed the United States because 80% of the people who heard Whitefield preach heard the gospel. They didn't all get saved, but the majority of them did get saved. And all of a sudden, they wanted liberty. And they shifted from being loyal to the British government, King George specifically, and all of a sudden, because he would preach, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. And that we're free. God created us with certain inalienable rights. And of course, it's liberty.
So you think all that going to happen between now and election?
No. No, it's not.
I'm about to say.
No, and that's why I feel I'm running for 2 terms.
Oh, okay.
I am running to lay the foundation, and if God does a miracle and I win, fine.
Right.
But
that is possible.
That is possible, but a long shot because of the lawfare I experienced. Through a technicality, my name was off the ballot. We appealed to the courts, and I lost in the lower courts. They didn't know who I am.
Right.
They know I'm the one that sued Governor Newsom. And by the way, it went all the way to Supreme Court. We won 6-3 during the lockdown.
Amazing.
And so there's only 2 pastors who ever sued Governor Newsom that actually won in the Supreme Court. Me and Bishop Art Hodges. We both sued him over the lockdown. And so we're famous with all the Newsom judges in the appeals court and lower courts, et cetera, all the appointments that he's made. Because as the governor, you appoint judges. And so we lost, but I found out I could run as a write-in candidate. And so I'm taking a stand.
So are you going to be a part of the debate tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 22nd, right? 22nd. April 22. There's a debate with the Democrats ready for. Are you a part of that debate tomorrow?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it's like I've had to take a different direction since my name got off the ballot. I'm now focusing on teaching people to write in my name, Che on.
Oh, cool.
When you get your mail-in ballot.
Right on. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm doing is trying to get the believers who are supporting me, and overwhelmingly the evangelical, because I'm pro-life, I'm pro-marriage between a man and a woman. Right. I am pro, free market, because my parents were business people. I own my own business as well. Right. So, even though I'm a pastor, I started my own business 2010.
Nice.
And by God's grace, I make more money with my business. I'm able to finance this campaign. I'm able to run, and I'm able to give back my salary. And then some for the last 15 years. Right. So I'm not even being paid by my church as a pastor.
The one thing that concerns me is that the mayor of L.A., Karen Bass, I don't know how that happened. It had to be from Satan. She's always giving the people free stuff. Free money for this, and free housing, and free this.
It's communism, it's Marxism, right. Yeah.
And the people, and Gavin Newsom and everybody kind of promised free stuff. And the people are addicted to free stuff. And that's what happened to the blacks. The government promised them free stuff.
Right.
And it was a Democratic government, so the blacks thought the Democrats loved them. But how do you get around that? Once you spoil people, it's hard to unspoil them. That's why they're telling the people, Trump is bad, Trump is this, and we're going to give you this. How do you deal with that?
Well, Jesus said this. He said, I want you to disciple nations. Jesus said this, make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything I commanded you. And so we have to re-educate people. We have to teach biblical values. And one of the major biblical values is that he's given us the call to be stewards and to take responsibility for our family. For example, there's a verse in 1 Timothy, if one doesn't provide for his own family, he's worse than an unbeliever.
Yeah.
And so, and then it teaches hard work. Do your work heartily as unto the Lord rather than for men. You're not trying to please people, you're trying to please God.
Absolutely.
And so the Bible teaches responsibility, stewardship. It teaches you how to be successful in life. And so what we have to do is, again, to begin spiritually for them to get born again, their scales come off their eyes, and then we need to train them and disciple them, and that happens through the local church.
Do they want it, though? Do they want the scales taken away from their eye? Most people tend to love their misery.
I think so. I think so, because deep down inside, when you show them, you're not going to be really happy unless you take responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
You're not going to be at peace. You're not going to have joy. Because when you work hard, you provide for family, there's a deep satisfaction that welfare will never be able to take the place for.
But have you noticed that most people, you know, Christ said that most people are not going to find the straight and narrow path, because most people love their hell, they love their misery. They call darkness light, and they don't want out.
Yeah.
So how do you convince Californians that they should not love their misery, but to want to overcome?
Well, one of the things that I really feel is that, yeah, you're absolutely right. Those who are on the broad way to destruction are many, and those who are on the narrow gate, that straight are few compared to the. But I still believe we're to be salt and light as believers. So the remnant that we are, we're to show that, hey, this is the pathway to success. They see our family, they see our finances, they see prosperity, they see our marriage, they see our kids. That's why he said, let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. I feel that it's more caught than taught that we need to demonstrate as a church. And so when we see the church flourishing and being all that God's created her to be, I really believe that we will start influencing people, and they'll say, come, let's go up to the mountain of the Lord, and he will teach us his ways.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping for that to happen.